How do you deal with patients who may not immediately embrace the diagnosis that you might have for them? Some may be in denial. If that problem is neurological, denial be a mental condition. Is that a challenge? Can
It
that
is a
be a
challenge. It
challenge?
is a challenge, and it's more common in certain types of brain conditions.
Mm.
For example, in frontotemporal dementia, which is an unusual form of dementia, it's very common for the patient to lack insight into their problem and deny there is a problem altogether. In the book, I describe a woman who I call Trish, and Trish is someone who is having problems with her memory, but she fobs it off by saying, "Oh, we're all getting older. Our memories are never as good as they used to be. It's not a problem." But her husband, Steve, is really having a difficulty in living with her because she is in denial that there's a problem. And it came to him telling me that, they had been on a holiday together, they'd had a lovely time, but when they were going to go home, she said, "I'm sorry, you can't drive back with me. My husband won't like it if you come back with me." And he said, but I am your husband. And she said, "Don't be silly. Just can't have you coming back with me in the car."
Mm.
So he at that point said, "Well, look, why don't you call Steve and he'll tell you it's fine. I'm a friend of Steve's. He'll tell you it's fine." So while she's phoning Steve on the mobile phone, he walks out and takes the call and says, "That's fine. Bring him along." So she does allow him to come home. But even at home, she's saying, "Wish you two Steves would work out who's going to stay with me tonight." So it's not her fault that she's in denial. Her
Mm.
memory is so poor here that she hasn't really worked out who this guy is that she's been on holiday. And in fact, she says to me, "Do you know, it's funny, this new guy has the same name as my husband." And
Yeah,
it's amusing in some ways, but it's also very sad
yeah.
because the level of memory impairment means that's an explanation why she might be in
Mm.
denial. She doesn't really understand that her memory is failing her so much. And your question about
Mm.
whether there is some sort of neurochemical cause for this, no one's really been able to pin that down to say this is due to this neurotransmitter. There's another patient in the book who has completely changed in her behavior. And when her husband talks to her about that, she says, "Well, I've been nice and demure and very tolerant all my life. I'm just going to say what I like now." From her point of view, the reason why she's changed is because she's no longer wanting to just be her quiet self. She's just going to say what she thinks. In fact,
Uh,
she has developed something that we just mentioned, frontotemporal dementia. But there may be many different reasons why
mm.
people are in denial. And of course, denial is something that isn't unique to patients. It can happen in people who are healthy.